What's up YouTube, Daryl here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you an update to Goblin Bikers. So massive shout out to Rob, who this is basically his updated version, and it still involves the Ghost Trick engine and of course the full armored engine as well. I'll take you through some different alternatives that you can take out those particular cards and swap them around with as we go through it, but I actually really do like this version of the deck because I do feel that it has a lot of gas and it can produce some very powerful go first and or second boards as well. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. With that out of the way, we're going to dive headfirst into the profile and show you what we've got while explaining why we've got it. So you're going to start off with the Goblin Biker lineup. As it currently stands, Dog Charger is your main one you want to go for, and the reason for that is it allows you to, all of them pretty much have the same effects to detach material from an XYZ on the field in general to summon them. Some will be during your opponent's turn, some will be during your turn specifically as well. If this card is in the hand, you get to detach material from a monster on either field, and if you do special summon this card, if it is normal or special, you get to add a Goblin Biker spell or trap from the deck to the hand. And then of course we've got Boom Mac. Now you can actually cut some of these down, so we've got 2 Boom Mac, 2 Splotter, and the 1 Merciless. Now the reason you want to be playing the 1 Merciless is it is a Fiend monster, so it can be summoned off of the back of your tour guide, and it does have the exact same graveyard effect as the rest of them, but this one is specifically during your main phase. Splotter is during your opponent's main phase. Again, detach a material from any XYZ on the board and summon it, and if it is normal or special, you revive a Goblin Biker from the graveyard. Boom Mac has a once per chain during the main phase in general. If it's in the hand or graveyard, you gain the quick effect to detach a material and special summon it. However, you cannot special summon Goblin Biker Boom Mac until the end of the next turn. So if you do it during your opponent's turn, you can't summon it again until your opponent's turn, and if you do it during your turn, you can only summon it during your turns, basically. So the ones that some people do consider cutting down ones is the Splotter and the Boom Mac, but I actually don't mind opening these up because they do become additional extenders. The idea behind this deck, or the biggest issue with this deck, is it does need to get to a rank 3. If it can't get to a rank 3 monster, you don't have that XYZ on the board to detach materials of, and in the current format that we are in, it's very rare that your opponent is putting XYZs on the board, so you've got to keep that in mind. For the main normal summon of the deck, you are going to be going with Tour Guide. It's just that incredibly powerful. You can play Sangan if you wanted to, but that's really if you are going to play more of a Link-focused version of the deck. And the reason you would play Sangan is you would summon the Sangan out, link it off with the Tour Guide, and then that will ultimately allow you to search any hand trap in your entire deck, mainly Droll and Lockbird, which can be massively helpful. So if your environment does auto lose to Droll and Lockbird and you are confident going first, then by all means you can do that. Otherwise, what I would advise you to do is you could very easily side out a couple of your cards, maybe even Droll and Lockbird, and then go for Sangan in the side deck, and that way you know straight away that when you are using Sangan, you do have that ability. The one you're going to be summoning more times than not will be Mean the Merciless, just because it gets that Goblin into rotation, while also technically giving you a 1 card rank 3, which can be your number 75 for your protection, your Gossip Shadow, or of course it can be your Big Gabunga in order to get your entire combos going. Then the best card of the entire deck that isn't a Goblin card is of course the Terratop into Tuckentarnborg engine, and the reason this is so good is because it gives you that instant rank 3 without conducting your normal summon, and that rank 3 can very easily become your Gossip Shadow. So straight away, if you start with a card like Terratop, not only can it bait out Imperms, Veilers, Ashes, you name it, it can then also get you into a rank 3 that provides you with a lot of protection, so that if you're able to then go, okay cool, normal summon Tour Guide, like opening up these 2 cards is absolutely mental, and then straight away what the best thing about this deck is, with a non-Goblin in your starter, you can get to a Goblin monster in the form of Big Gabunga, and this will then search you everything you need, mainly the Dog Charger, because that will then ultimately loop you straight back around to get you everything you need into rotation. For other additional extenders, we've got the 1 Danger Sukanoko and the Jackalope, just because they are purely both level 3s, which is really, really helpful. You could play Nessie if you wanted to, but ultimately I don't think it's worth it, because getting a Nessie on the board, especially with the type of build that we are playing, doesn't actually provide you with anything. You'll see that when we get to the extra deck, we aren't playing any Link monsters. It is 100% XYZ focused. However, if you did want to consider playing some Link monsters, you could look into stuff like IP Masquerena, SP Little Knight, Unicorn if you wanted to go down that route as well. So you do have options, but we wanted to go more as a full-on XYZ focused, and again, I'll take you through the cards you can change out for that. Obviously, both of these, Sukanoko is probably the better one because even if it is discarded, it does become a level 3. Whereas with Jackalope, what you're basically doing is if you open up any of your Goblin Bikers that want to be in the graveyard, you can put them in the graveyard, very easy free discard fodder, extenders, everything else you need to. For the other extensions, we are playing the one Wielder and the one Tracker alongside the one Nyan Nyan. Now, the reason that Nyan Nyan is so good in this particular version, it would be changed if you are playing a Link Focus deck, because when you do use its revival effect from the graveyard, it locks you into summoning level, rank, freeze, or higher monsters for the rest of the turn. But the reason this is so good is it's a Psychic level 3, and if a level 3 monster is normal or special to your field while this card is in the graveyard, except during damage state, you get to special summon it as a tuner. If you wanted to, you could play in some synchros, like synchro level 9s or 6s, but the idea is that you've got the ability to use this off of E-Telly, use it as XYZ material, detach it, get it into the graveyard, summon out another level 3, this one then comes back, and then that gives you instant access to make another rank 3. Again, like I said, if you are playing the Link version of this deck, she will then ultimately lock you out of making your Link summons from that point on, because you're only really going to be focusing on Link 2 summons, which is ideally what you'd want to be focusing on. But for now, we're just utilising this as a very cool rank 3 option or rank 3 extender. On top of that as well, it does give you the ability that should you banish any of your Goblin Bikers because you've used their effects and not used them as XYZ material in the Link version, she can actually put them back when she gets banished. But again, more times than not, because she's never leaving the field, she's always leaving the field as a material rather than itself, it never gets banished, which is really nice. For the hand traps, pretty standard on this one. You've got your triple Ash Blossom, you've got your triple Imperm, double Ghost Ogre. The reason for this one is because it is technically an extender off of the back of E-Telly. And again, this is another reason if you wanted to, you could use this as a level 3 for a Synchro level 6. The Synchro level 6 would become more relevant if you are playing the level 6 XYZ for the Goblins, but with this particular deck right here, you are very rarely making anything of a higher level because you're not playing the Big Bash, but you can play the Big Bash in a different version if you wanted to. Then of course you've got Trill Dry and Lockbird, again adapted to your local environment. If these are ineffective or if any of these are ineffective, you can swap them out for Trill Tactic Talents, Board Breakers if you wanted to, Forbidden Droplets, Pot of Prosperity, as you do have a lot of very cool options. For the spell cards, we've got triple Emergency Teleport, triple Goblin Biker Grand Entrance. This card is just nuts. Like, add a Goblin monster from the deck to the hand, and then you get to apply the following effects. You detach an XYZ material from a monster on either field, and then get to special summon a level 4 or lower Goblin monster from your hand, which is really, really nice. And the reason it is cool to actually let you summon a level 4 or lower is it does mean you could use stuff like Goblins to your attack force. And there is actually a Goblin monster that we got that was a common that was a level 4 as well. On top of that as well, you can banish this card from the graveyard to detach an XYZ material from a monster on either field and add a Goblin monster from the graveyard back to the hand, so you get nice recyclability. Rotor, just search out your warriors of the deck, because one of your Dug Charger, would have worked first time, is in fact a warrior. So being able to search that out, you're basically playing 4 copies of your Dug Charger. The one called by the grave, and then your 2 flex spots if you are playing the engines or not. So you've got the 1 flex slot for your Ghost Tricks. Now the idea behind this, as you've seen in my previous combos, is that throughout the combos you'll go into Alucard. Alucard can then let you rank up into Mischief. Mischief can then search you out Shot, and then off of the back of that Shot can then summon you back your Alucard, and then you go into a second Mischief, putting both of those together for Utopic Future, and then Utopic Draco Future. So the idea is that with the right extenders you can end the board on a Gossip Shadow, plus Big Gabunga, plus the ability of activating your full armored XYZ, and you'll have a Utopic Draco Future as well, with a Ghost Trick Shot also recycled, so you can start again the next turn. And then of course the full armoured XYZ. If you're not playing the full armoured engine, you can cut this out completely. It only really saves you 2 cards in your main deck to kind of flex around with, but it's the extra deck that when you're not playing either of these engines, it does unlock a lot of space. So for now, because I wasn't playing any Link monsters and I did just want to go for rank 3 focal point, the only things you're really missing that you could put in here is a Totem Bird, but that's very specific off of the back of the Terratop engine. A Fortune Tune, which is just a nice little defensive option in order to get into a Zeus, which ultimately I didn't feel that I needed. So for the XYZs, we are playing 2 Goblin Biker Big Gabunga. Such a cool card for the deck, generic rank 3. If it's XYZ, you get to add a Goblin monster from the deck to the hand, so more times than not you'll go for your Dug Charger, unless you want to go for that extender. And if a material is detached from any monster or monsters on the field, except during the damage state, you get to target a face-up monster your opponent controls, except this card, and then, 1 card on the field, and then accept this one, and then attach it to this card as material. During the end phase, you can attach 1 Goblin monster from your deck to this card as material, and the best thing about that is it puts in a Goblin Biker that you'll want in rotation, whether that be the Mean the Merciless, whether that be Spotter, whether that be the Boom Charger. You've got both of those running around. And then of course we've got the 1 Concarda King, very nice and defensive. You can actually summon this off of your full armoured XYZ trap card. Ashura King is your OTK enabler. Bamboozling Gossip Shadow is obviously your main defender. And then the only one that isn't in an engine is your Downward Magician into a Zeus. Just because you can turn any of your rank 3s into Downward to give you a double Zeus, which is really nice. And then the 2 engines that are completely flexible down to your personal preference. So we've got the one option of the Armoured Torpedo, which technically you don't need to use, but it's basically a very easy rank 3 to make that detaches both of its materials, because in order to rank up the Armoured Torpedo into the Armoured Fortress, you do need to have an XYZ with no materials. It was very easy to actually do it with some of your monsters in the main deck, so if you wanted to, and you wanted to cut back a space in here because you wanted to play Fortune Tune or you wanted to play Totem Bird, this would be the one that I would say you could get rid of. The idea is you'd go into the full XYZ Armoured Fortress, and off of the back of that you'll go into your full Armoured Dark Lancer, which just gives you the ability to search the trap card and then also have the ability to attach a monster your opponent controls to this as material. Then the other engine, which technically takes up 5 slots, so is a little bit more demanding on the main deck. You've got the 1 Ghost Trick Alucard, followed up by the 2 Ghost Trick Angels of Mischiefs, and then of course you've got your Utopic Future, and then your Utopic Draco Future. So this just gives you an incredibly powerful boss monster, while also basically being able to come from one single rank 3. If you haven't seen the combo video, by all means go and check that out with the test stand videos, but you'll be able to see that how you basically do it is very simply go into a rank 3 of Alucard. Then what you do is you rank the Alucard up into a Mischief. Mischief will detach the Alucard in order to search out Shot. You'd activate Shot to bring back the Alucard, rank up the Alucard you've just revived into a second Mischief, and then what you do is you put both the Mischiefs together in order to make your Utopic Future, and then go into a Utopic Draco Future, because these are both the same rank, but they do not share a number, which is really nice. So it just says 2 XYZ monsters with the same rank except numbers, so it can even be the same name, which is really, really cool. So like I said, this is a 5-card extra deck engine, but a 1-card main deck engine, and then the full armor is a 3-card extra deck engine and a 1-card main deck engine. So you wanted to take them out and change them around, by all means you can do. This version will definitely be updated when we get the new trap card in Legacy of Destruction, but we are at least a couple of months away from that anyway, before we do make any bigger updates to it. So with those zones that I've shown you 8 slots in the extra deck that can be taken out and 2 in the main deck that are guaranteed to come out. You can take those 2 out for something a little bit more consistent in the form of Pot of Prosperity, and the 8 in the extra deck just become your generic Link 2s, and then they can also become, like I've said before, your Fortune Tune if you feel you need a bit more of a defensive rank 3. You can also look at increasing the Big Gabunga. You could put into stuff like your Typhoon if you feel that you need it. You can put in a second Zeus. You just kind of have a couple of different options depending on the route you want to take with this deck. Unfortunately, it is at this moment in time probably more of a rank 3 spam deck than anything else, but it's still incredibly fun, very, very powerful, and all you really need to do is be able to play around Nibiru, which is the ideal scenario, which is why we are playing the Gossip Shadow, because that will just give you the protection that you need in order to pretty much go full combo. Because once you've been able to get that 1 rank 3 XYZ from ideally 1 card, either being your Tour Guide or your Terratop, from the remaining 4 cards you have in the hand, the idea is that at least one of them is an extender. You can actually get yourself into additional rank 3s, ideally your Big Gabunga, and that will start off your full combo for your Goblins as well. Anyway, I hope this has given you a couple of insights into your own build for the Goblin Bikers and updated it just to kind of show you how you can utilize the Gossip Shadow, as that was probably like the biggest missing piece from previous versions that we've done, is just to be able to protect you from the Birus. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them. For now, as absolutely always, smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. But most importantly, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.